Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to my all new setup tour. Yes, we've obviously moved into the new house recently. I've been able to stream a lot more. I've been able to hopefully make a lot more better videos as well. Now, you guys have been begging me in the comments below just to obviously give you guys a new update. Obviously what the new setup looks like, what the new office looks like and everything like that. So that is exactly what we're going to do in today's video. Now, first of all, I've just got to say a massive thank you because all of you watching this, have made this possible. For those of you that don't know or don't kind of like keep up too much with the channel, recently myself and my partner, we bought a house together. So yeah, obviously that wouldn't be possible without all of you guys watching all of these videos. So a massive, massive thank you to all of you as well. Now, none of this is meant to be kind of me showing off or anything like that. This is just obviously what I use to make videos. I always find these videos really interesting when other people do them as well. So hopefully this helps you guys out. It's certainly not kind of like the basic requirements for what you need to make YouTube videos or Twitch streams or anything like that. But yeah, without further ado though, let's head into my all new office. Well, if we make our way up the stairs then and into the all new office, obviously you can see I haven't got anything on the door yet. I must admit, it is very, very weird to think that probably close to 5,000 videos were done in my old room. This is like the first time ever since I've been doing YouTube properly that isn't my room. But now obviously I've lived here for a couple of months. Things have kind of started to feel a bit more normal now. It isn't fully finished or anything like that. I mean, you can still see there's a few boxes and a couple of other bits and pieces, for example. And luckily, Last212, her brother and sister bought this Lego McLaren for her a few years ago now, and well, we still need to put it up on the wall as well then. So yeah, apologies, obviously not everything is perfect. I normally do like an update setup every year. So I'm sure when we get to 2026, hopefully more stuff will be sorted. We'll start though with the most important bit. I think the bit that you guys care the most about, of course, as always, is my rig. That has remained unchanged from previous setup videos. We have got a Fanatec Formula V 2.5X. You can tell I'm not a cameraman. Attached to the Fanatec CSL GT-DD. Now, at the time of recording this, Fanatec have actually changed the way their links work. So there is a new link down in the description of this video. If you do want to buy any Fanatec products and you want to help support us at no additional cost to yourself, you can use that link down below. And obviously, basically, whenever you buy anything, it just gives me a small percentage of the sale, which is really, really useful. We've also got the CSL Elite V2, I think no, V3 pedals now actually on this one as well. And this has all come together with a Trakracer TR8 rig. I actually bought this myself, but now I also work with Trakracer, so I cannot recommend this rig enough, of course. I've done a few endurance races in it already, and it works really, really well. We've also got, obviously, RIP Map 2 and 2 Rally, obviously with the EAWRC being dead. We've got the Fanatec shifter and handbrake. Those are the old models now, I can't even remember. I think there's a new handbrake, and I think the shifter is still the up-to-date one. But yeah, as you can see, there's a few cables. My cable management is a lot better than it used to be, but it is still not perfect. Again, I'm still trying to go around and sort out everything. And as you can see there, we have got the YouTube play button. You can see me as well. Hello, there's the camera. But yeah, hoping obviously we can get another couple of those in the future as well. We're getting very close to 150,000 subs on the main channel though, so make sure you hit that sub button as well. As you can see, we've got my gloves from IMB Racewear as well. They don't actually sell these anymore, sadly, I recently found out, which is a bit of a shame, but I would still recommend IMB Racewear. They are a brilliant company for gloves. My microphone is a Blue Yeti, I want to say, one of the newer Blue Yetis, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's got a sock on it. It basically just, otherwise, I like P's and S's quite pronounced, so that's why there's a sock on there. I've also got an Elgato Stream Deck. Those, I would say, are an absolute lifesaver. If you make regular YouTube videos, you'll notice that isn't the only Stream Deck I've got around here. In fact, I've technically got two Stream Decks in this rig. Now, it might be a little bit more difficult to spot the other one, but if you look just under there, under my pedals, there is a Stream Deck pedal, which I actually use now to clip like shorts live. So that works quite well. It's a little bit, I've got to get a bit fancy with the footwork with it, but I'm slowly getting more used to that. So it means if I'm like recording a video and a crazy moment happens and I don't want to forget about it, then I can press that pedal and it actually records that as well there. The new addition though to the rig, which was something I really wanted to do when I moved, was actually a pedal camera. So you'll notice obviously you've got like the normal wheel base plate, obviously the Fanatec bolts in on the side. There's also another wheel plate with a little screw just there. Now, I wanted to make sure when I set this up, I did it properly and something I was really happy with, and also something I can upgrade down the line. So I think if you just take a quick peek, again, terrible camera work, you can see there's a Logitech C920 there. That is just what I use at the moment, but I want to upgrade that down the line, probably to another Sony as well there. But there we go, that's my rig. That's kind of like the bit most of you care about. Like I mentioned, there'll be links down in the description below if you want to buy any of these products. My TV is like an LG 43-inch one. It's got a good refresh rate, it's got a low kind of response time as well, so that still works quite well. I rather race on a TV. You know, a lot of people sit very close to their rig. I sit quite far away, but where I record a lot of videos, I'd rather sit a little bit further back and try and protect my eyes somewhat to make all of these videos as well. As you can see, there's a random box still of stuff that I need for this office that I haven't quite got sorted out yet, but probably should move that at some point soon. And then just above that, I've got my old AOC 24-inch monitor. That is now solely used for stream chat. I remember when I first got this, this was like a really overkill monitor about 10 years ago. So it's like, it was one of the early monitors that had like 1 millisecond response time and things like that. And yeah, now it just serves my chat. So I see my chat messages on Twitch and on streams a few hundredths of a second faster than I normally would. Further around, you've got my normal face cam. So this is a Sony a6100. It works really well. I've got that plugged into an Elgato Camlink Pro, and then just below that you can see I've got my Oculus Rift S. I don't really tend to make much VR content, but if I do, it's normally either that or if Pimax send me out something to test out, then obviously I use that as well. But yeah, Sony cameras. This camera that I'm vlogging this on as well is a Sony ZV-1, but I don't really use this one very often. Further around then, we have got my headphones. Genuinely, I reckon the best investment I've ever made are these Sony XM4s. They're still available now, even after they've done a couple more kind of more up-to-date versions. The XM4s are still highly rated. Less than £200 now. Honestly, I would say if you're looking for headphones, I cannot recommend these enough. And then we come round to my office now. As you can see, obviously this is where I do a lot of the editing. Now, as many of you guys know, I don't now edit all of the videos. Obviously, we've now got Roll, who does some of the editing work on the main channel. So I still edit a few videos here and there, and I edit most of the stuff that goes elsewhere onto YouTube. Yeah, Roll does a lot of the main channel editing nowadays. It's also obviously where I sit for the podcast and things like that. My chair is a Bybit sponsored one. I think, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So it's a Royale chair. They sent it out to me many years ago. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. And it's really comfy. Now, the microphone I use for the podcast is a older style Blue Snowball. I think I've got like 4 of these. It works quite well. It's not perfect. I do need to upgrade that at some point in the near future. And then you can see my keyboard is like a 10-year-old. I think it's older than that now. Razer Chroma, and then the mouse as well. Those cost me like an arm and a leg back in the day, and I've just kept using them ever since, and I've never found anything I wanted to upgrade to, so they still work quite well. And then as you can see, if I just move my microphone around, we've got yet another Stream Deck. So this one literally took me probably over 100 hours, and I've got it set up with loads of macro keys. So obviously when I edit videos, I can do it really speedily. So as you can see, I've got loads of stuff on there. Obviously you can go through, and I've even got like live counts for most of the YouTube channels as well. So as you can see, the main channel, 147,000 subscribers, 95.5 million views. We're getting closer and closer to 100 million views as well, which is absolutely insane. My monitors, I've got a Samsung 24-inch curved monitor. Again, these were quite cheap just to use as like a second monitor. So that's quite useful. If I'm like editing and stuff, I edit on this AOC 34-inch ultra wide. This one's quite good. I think it's 144 a refresh rate, a 1 millisecond response time. Again, not important for editing, it's more of a gaming monitor, but I really like it and it works quite well. So normally I'll have like my editing software there, I'll use Adobe Premiere Pro, and then I'll have like all the footage I need up here, so obviously I can just drag and drop it in. Now I used to obviously have that monitor like square on in the middle, but now I've got yet another Sony camera. That is a Sony a6400. Now I want to do kind of more short format content. Obviously I already use that camera, and it's in an Elgato prompter currently. I normally use that camera obviously for the podcast and a few other bits and pieces. I still need to go through and fix it up properly, but it works quite well. And then you can also see just there, I've got a little Logitech C270. I think they were like the really cheap Logitech camera a few years ago, but just in case I run into any problems, then I have that one. Now, so far, everything has pretty much been the same as it used to be. But you'll notice now, I've actually got a second kind of like mini desk setup. This is arguably the most overkill thing I've ever seen. Basically, obviously, what I found I was doing is where I like to make a lot of videos, I found obviously I was having to spend a lot of time waiting for videos to render, or recording replays was always a big one. Where obviously, you know, if you're recording replays on F1 or iRacing, you can't speed that process up, the game just has to do it. So I basically set up an all-new PC that can render videos and record iRacing replays. So it basically means that can be like, say, recording a replay, and then I can be over here editing a separate video. It basically now means normally I can be working on 2 videos at the same time as well. So that works really well. This also still acts as my server PC, so it's good now that I've got it just plugged into a monitor. It's just like an Acer 21.5-inch monitor. It was basically the cheapest one I could find, and it works really well. Moving on though, over to the final bit then. Of course, if any of you guys have seen some of my old setups, you will know about this as well. Of course, we've got like my console wall, so PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox One X, I think, PlayStation 2. My brother-in-law actually gave me that because he doesn't use it anymore, so maybe we'll do some videos with that in the future. Xbox Series X, just some random controllers and things like that. And then 1, 2, and 3 PCs. This one's my server PC, that again, I said is kind of like my backup one. It's got like a Ryzen 9 5900X, if I'm not mistaken, and about 120 terabytes of storage with an RTX 3050. Again, it's fairly basic, but it's not really used for too many intensive tasks. You can also see I've got my PS5 and then a couple of extra bits of storage as well attached to that. This PC I exclusively use on for gaming now, so this was a really baller PC when I bought it. Ryzen 9 5950X, RTX 3090, NVMe SSD, all of that good stuff. And then this is like my main editing PC as well, which has got a Ryzen 7 7800X, and then an RTX 4070 Ti as well there. So 3 PCs is completely overkill for what most people need. Of course, yeah, I'm a big AMD Ryzen fanboy. I want to upgrade that one quite soon. I want to get a Ryzen 9950X and an RTX 5090. Because of course, like with ray tracing on F125 and things like that, the 3090 could do it, but it doesn't look fantastic. The RTX technology wasn't really there with that PC. So yeah, I want to do that in the future. And then last but not least, we've got my aircon. Yes, of course, something that most people in the UK don't have. I've got it plumbed into the ceiling. People always ask me what on earth that pipe is, but it basically, of course, means I can take some of the heat out of this room and it just goes up into the ceiling and then out through the roof. And then we've got all of my other wheels. So Gran Turismo wheel that came with the wheelbase, really boring, I've never used it. A couple of CSL P1s, again, they're all right, but nothing special. This is my custom Xbox, I think it's the Universal Hub, but I've got it with a OMP rim that I bought for like £40 because the rims that Fanatec charge you for are ludicrous, so I use that for like over racing and rally racing. And then last but not least, of course, recently they announced that the McLaren GT3 wheel was no more, so maybe that'll be worth some money in the future, because again, I very rarely use that one. Well, there we are then. That is going to be everything from today's setup video. Like I said in the intro, a massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support. You know, like I said, none of this was going to be possible without any of you. My camera's just flashed up saying it's going to run out of battery very soon, so I'm going to end this one now. If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And yeah, we'll be back very soon with more, hopefully, Formula 1 content.